JavaScript while loop challenge and game refactoring. In the previous video, we mastered while loops. Today, I will explain the solution for the third challenge from that video, and then we'll use new knowledge to refactor our Buckshot Roulette game project. Let's get started. At first, I want to remind you about the challenge description. The challenge name is printing machine. We need a message that contains 5 letters. So we ask a user to write a message. We are using a while loop, and while our message.length is less than 6, so while it contains from 0 to 5 characters, we ask a user to add an additional letter to the message. And for that, we are using a confirm function that has 2 buttons. If the user presses OK, then the program should add this letter to the message. And if the user presses cancel, then we should switch the letter from A to B and from B to A. So I think that we might start from the variable message. And our message equals to an empty string. And then we might write a keyword while. I recommend to immediately add a keyword break to prevent an infinite loop. In the parentheses, we must write a condition that keeps our loop running. In our case, this is message length is less than 6. And first thing that we can do in our body is actually ask a user to write a letter. So let's start from the confirm function. At first, I might ask a user to write a message. Then I will use the symbol to separate lines. This symbol works as pressing enter on the keyboard. And then we might add some instructions. For example, OK means add the current letter, and cancel means switch the letter. And we also might display the current letter. For that, I might use a concatenation. It uses the same sign as addition, but it calls concatenation when we sum 2 strings. So when we join them together. And right here, let's join current letter. So we don't have this variable and we must initialize it. In our description, we have that default is A, so I might immediately give the value of A to the current letter. And it should work that it will take this variable, replace with the value, so in our case this is A, and when we have the concatenation between 2 strings, it will join them together, and we will eventually have a 1 string. This is our final message that we should have as a result of this function. I will undo our changes by Ctrl+Z. And then I will open the console in the browser using live server extension. And right now we see a pop-up message as expected. So I might press OK. And then I will press Alt-Z to wrap the code. And right now we see that our 14th line is separated into 3 lines. But if I expand this window, we see that this is still a 1 line. And of course we might separate this message into several confirm functions, but it depends on your choice. We should think about our exit condition. We must add the current letter to the message 5 times to finish the loop. Let's write that message equal to message plus current letter. But we also should check that the user presses OK to add the letter to the message. We can add an if statement. And inside of the if statement, I might write that if the user choice equal to true. So then we add a letter to the message. We don't have the user choice variable, so we should initialize it. Our user choice is a confirm function that returns only true or false values. If the user choice equal to true, we add the current letter to the message, and if it equals to false, we should switch the letter. I will write just else letter equal to B. So right now, if user presses OK, it gives the true value as a result, and we will increase the message length. So we have an exit condition, and this is why I can delete the keyword break and test this code in our browser. If I press cancel, we see that current letter have been changed to B, and then if I press cancel again, we'll see absolutely the same message. So I can toggle it back to A, but if I press OK, I should actually press it 5 times to exit the loop. Right now we have finished our loop. Let's add console.log to better see the changes. At the end of the file, I will add just console.log. I will log our variable message. Let's inspect the page. And right here we will choose a console. And now I might save this file. And we see that our current letter is A. If I press OK, it adds a letter A to the message. And if I press cancel, it switches the letter. The console shows number 2 next to the double A because we console our message every cycle. And when I press cancel, this is the action of switching the letter, and it takes 1 cycle. Every time when I press some button, I have a new message in the console, and I might do it until I reach the number of 5. Right here I see that it actually finishes our loop when our message is equal to 6. So let's change this number to 5. And then I will test it again. And right now it works as expected. Let's add this last mechanic of switching the letters from A to B and from B to A. We switch the letter in this else statement. And right here I should check what is the current letter. So if it equal to A, we should assign a new value of B. And if the current letter equals to B, we should assign the value to A. As I have only 2 possible variables right here, my current letter might be A or my current letter might be B, I will write it as if-else statement. Right now I might test this file, and if I press cancel, it switches the letter to B. I might press cancel again. It switches the letter back to A, so it worked as expected. And right now I might write a message using only 2 buttons. So basically I might press OK to add the current letter to the message, and I might press cancel to switch the letter, and this is our final result. Now let's use new skills to refactor our game project. If you don't have this project for any reasons, you can download it from my GitHub. To download the file, open the link in the description, then find a Buckshot Roulette.js file and click it, and then click the download button in the right top corner. Then you can open this file and you might work in this file. But I will copy and paste this file to a new JS file. So I will press Ctrl A to select all the code, then Ctrl C to copy it, and then I will go to the new JS file and press Ctrl V to paste it. And to see the changes in the console, I should go to our HTML file and change the source to GameRefactor.js. This is the name of our new JS file where we will work. So if you want to work in the Buckshot Roulette.js file, you should choose a Buckshot Roulette.js file right here. Now, if I save the file, we see our game in the console. As you remember, we might press OK in order to shoot the dealer, or we might press cancel to shoot ourselves. And this is basically how we played this game. I expand the window to better see what happens, and notice one interesting thing, that the second cycle and the first cycle are identical. If we want to add more cycles, we basically copy the last cycle and then paste it to create a new cycle. But we might use while loop to actually have as many cycles as we need. I see that my first cycle and second cycle are a little bit different. The second cycle has 2 additional lines. I should add them in the first cycle. I will copy and paste them, and I will delete this space. Our first cycle and our second cycle are identical, but we have one problem, that basically we have both these lines above when we initialize all the variables. So right now we should initialize these variables without any values. So I might just delete all this code above And right now you see that both these variables are empty, and this is exactly what we need because we added these lines into our first loop. To better understand how to modify our code with while loop, I start to write it a little bit above. When we start writing the while loop, we start from the keyword while. I write this keyword. Then we have parentheses. Inside of the parentheses, we should write the condition that keeps our while loop running. We want to run a new cycle if player's lives is more than 0 and if dealer's lives is more than 0. So the condition is absolutely the same as in our if statement. Then we have parentheses, and inside of the parentheses, we are using the body. Our body is the same as our body of the if statement. If I copy and paste them, right now we might compare both these statements and we see that they're different only in this keyword while. What I actually can do, I will delete this block that we have written, and then I will just change the if keyword to while. And right now it means that while our player lives more than 0 and dealer lives more than 0, we will generate a new cycle. This is exactly what we did when we copied and pasted our cycles. So right now I might delete the second and the first cycles. Right now you see that we have a game loop, so I might delete this label of first cycle. Then we have a winning check, and winning check happens only if we exit our while loop. And we exit our while loop if dealer's lives is 0 or if player's lives is 0. And then look that we have a default condition that can't running right now because our while loop will generate as many cycles as we need to kill the player or to kill the dealer. So I can delete a default condition as well. And basically, this is the end of our refactoring. So let's save this file and test how it works. I save the file and I see the same message as previously. If I press cancel to shoot myself, we might lose a life or we might gain a life. So I will press it again and you see that lucky break. Right now I have gained my life. So both these conditions works correctly. And let's press OK. And I might also lose a life or I might shoot the dealer and the dealer might lose a life. So let's try to press OK again. Unfortunately, we have lost 2 lives. So let's play this game again. I refreshed the page. Right now I will try to shoot the dealer and you see that you hit the dealer, and I will try to shoot the dealer again, and you see that, yeah, it works. So we might shoot the dealer 2 times, and you might test it as many times as you want, and you will find that this code works absolutely the same as our previous code. Was it difficult? Let me know in the comments. In the next video, we will dive into JavaScript increment techniques so you can write cleaner and more concise while loops.